Look, there's Dia. Let's tell her what the real story is. And Candace. Huh? Candace is here too? So, I need to reflect a little on what I did. What happened? To meet you here today is surely due to the guidance of the gods. Greetings. Candace, is this a personal trip? Today's trip to the city is to buy provisions for the people of Aru village, as well as help Miss Sitaria deliver a message to the sages of the Academia while I'm here. On the way, I happened to see Dia sitting in the cafe looking down, so I came over to chat with her. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. It's just that I suddenly remembered a few details about that book after talking with you. Before that client had even contacted me, I'd heard rumors of an exciting novel full of undiscovered secrets. Out of curiosity, I asked Sino to take it out for me. As a desert dweller and a mercenary to boot, the idea of solving a mysterious treasure map is pretty exciting. Paimon totally gets that. We inherited our custom of searching for the gold and wisdom in the sands from the gods themselves. But that book turned out to be as dry as dust. A bunch of names had been circled, but I still couldn't figure out what the puzzle was supposed to be, despite reading the whole thing through carefully from start to finish. In the end, I started to think it was some kind of ritual or game or something, so I picked up a pen and drew a circle of my own. But later on, Miss Dunyarzad asked her parents to find a way to borrow it for her. She said the mysterious markings fascinated her, even though she couldn't get into the book itself. If they were just regular annotations, it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, but these strange circles, you can't help but want to try and figure out what they might mean. What they mean is just that they're circles. The end. That's true. So, Dia, what you're reflecting on is having accidentally interfered with other people's reading experiences. Is that correct? Uh-huh. Wait, hold on a second. Why did you tell Candace? She's a warrior, you know. Sometimes she has to interrogate criminals and other things like that too. Everyone recognizes that her job is sacred, so when we need to think over what we've done wrong, we'll talk to her about it. Please, don't be too surprised, my dear Storm. To me, listening to other people's mistakes is just another way of protecting them. By speaking of your own mistakes and hearing sincere advice in return, improvement will come over time. That's the way we do things. But all she did was draw a circle, and it's not like she was deliberately trying to mess with anyone. Besides, everyone agrees that the book itself is just bad. Don't worry about it, Dia. That's true. I was just telling Candace how bizarre it is. But be that as it may, it doesn't change the fact that it just ain't right to mess with someone else's enjoyment of a book. That's the bottom line. Anyway, Dia, please, have faith the gods will forgive your transgression. Besides, you told me about a part of the story where one of the suspects in the case ended up crawling out of the village on his hands and knees, and he was named Al-Ahmal. That's right. The detective in the book argued that he must have leapt across the broken bridge like a frog. Of course, you find out later on his conjecture was totally off base. Why is that? Because it turns out that Al-Ahmal has a superpower, so he could float right across the broken bridge. What the heck is that book even about? It sounds completely ludicrous. Al-Ahmal. It's simply too reminiscent of the good name of King Deshret, don't you think? Though, considering how transgressive this book sounds, I don't think it's worth overthinking it. You're right. You know, I can't help but wonder what our friends at the Temple of Silence would say if they somehow got their hands on this book. I'm sure those sages, I heard a cat meowing in the background. Anyway, I'm sure those sages would be able to unpack interesting ideas from the text we ordinary people could scarce dream of. It's normal for there to be bridges outside blizzard swept mountain villages and normal for them to get broken, but for a person to cross one by floating through the air, why resort to such a lame plot device? Is it really a serious detective novel? Paimon's starting to get where Farazan was coming from. If you'd gotten all excited about reading a detective novel but ended up reading tripe like that instead, better not to even think about it. So where's the book now? Not sure. I returned it after I was done reading it, and back then there weren't as many markings inside as the rumors say there are. Alright, then Detective Paimon is still on the case. Who could have predicted this? It is precisely because it is unpredictable that you shouldn't blame yourself. What is this quest, though? I thought this was going to be a short stream. I was woefully incorrect. Where am I going? I went to the wrong teleporter. But we're embracing it. All right. Looking for the book again. Hello. Has reasoning knows not time of day, but suspense always follows a blizzard been returned yet? There are 2 copies of this book. One's been marked up and the other hasn't. I'm guessing you're looking for the one with the marks. Oh, you saw right through us. Many others have asked for it too. I apologize though, it seems it hasn't been returned yet. Please come back again later. Can't you at least tell us who borrowed it? Well, as long as it isn't overdue, we'll wait patiently for it to be returned. Disclosing borrowers' identities without proper reason for doing so would be a violation of professional ethics, so you'll have to forgive me for keeping that information confidential. You've got a point. It would be terrible if someone looking to steal a book started harassing whoever had borrowed it. Hey, you two look as confused as a couple of Aranara who've just run into each other head first. Are you looking for something? I can help. That's Nahida's voice. Hi there. Nahida, have you heard of a book called Reasoning Knows Not the Time of Day, but Suspense Always Follows a Blizzard? Such a long name, but yes, I know the one you mean. I heard that everyone was looking for it, and it sounded fascinating, so I found a brand new copy to read myself. By brand new, do you mean it wasn't the copy with all the markings on it? Yeah, that's right. I was more interested in the content of the book itself than all those rumors about hidden treasure, so an unmarked copy was all I needed. Speaking of which, it's funny. There's more than one copy of this book, but everyone's looking for the one where all the names have been circled. Are they all afraid of spoilers, or do they actually crave them? Oh, do you know who has the copy with the markings right now? I just so happen to have seen it in the hands of one of your friends. If you're looking for the copy that sparked all the rumors, you should look around near the palace of Alcazar-Zure. Why is this quest so long? What does it have to do with the summer event? All are valid questions. Can I make that jump? Maybe. If my stamina wasn't so low. Aw, dang. Okay. Well, fair. Is that, Dory? Sino? And Sethos? Someone who we don't know. I don't know Sethos yet. Darn you, General Mahamatra. Entrapment isn't gonna work. You can't do that. Hey, what do you mean by entrapment? We're learning about Sethos. No scholar who studies King Deshret's civilization fails to understand the significance of the Temple of Silence, and Sethos is none other than the heir to this ancient organization and its history of over 1,000 years. After arriving in Sumeru City, he did not wish to be too conspicuous, and so chose to live in anonymity, crafting an ordinary identity. With his friendly smile and enthusiasm, this skilled conversationalist became a part of the community almost as soon as he arrived. If you run into him in the street by chance, it wouldn't hurt to strike up a conversation. Perhaps he'll share a mysterious desert tale, long lost amidst the sands. You were the one who said you had the book. I said I wanted to read it. Then you agreed to meet me here. Sino showing up, too, was just a coincidence. Pure coincidence. You... Don't play games with me. I know who you are. You're that new kid Sethos, right? I know you're a friend of Sino's. Huh. So you do know who I am. I saw how Sino was chasing you around, trying to get you to play cards, and how you found an excuse to run off after a couple of rounds right after. That left quite an impression. You didn't need to mention that, though. No, I think Dory's right about that. You always look for a way out when it comes to playing Invocation. It's becoming quite a problem. Storm and Paimon, you've been standing there for quite a while. Oh, if it isn't my dear Storm and Paimon, what brings the two of you to the palace of Alcatzarzaray? Might it be that you have come to do business with me, the Lord Sengama Bay? Of course, of course. Please give me a moment to conclude our business here, then I'll be with you straight away. Anyway, General Mahamatra, as I am sure you are well aware, the means by which I had someone borrow this book from the House of Dana were both completely legal and perfectly reasonable. Seeing as it isn't yet time to return it, you have no right to forcibly seize a book I borrowed. That would only be the case had you not engaged in any irregular activities. Yet just now, a buyer, Sethos, came to the palace of Alcatzarzaray on the basis of a mysterious message to meet a seller, hoping in vain to purchase a detective novel. What do you mean, buyer? He's one of your people. You sent him here to deliberately try to buy it and entrap me. That is not something I can acknowledge. What I can tell you is that I've had my eyes on this book for some time. Remember, it is forbidden to transfer or sell books from the House of Dana without explicit approval from the relevant authorities. I'm not selling anything. Just to be clear, I'm just making the most of an opportunity. If someone pays me a little something on the side, I lend them this mysterious little novel to browse for a bit. If you don't believe me, just ask any of my curious readers. Yes, that's right, your readers. Anyway, I was just showing him the book. Is that so? And here I was thinking, you were really going to go through with an illegal transaction like this, Sethos. Wait, what? You two really aren't together? I was just really curious about the book. I finally managed to track it down, but Sino, it's true that Dory never actually said she wanted to sell the book. So she isn't the mastermind who started all this? The mastermind? So by your own account, it looks like you might have jumped the gun a bit, General Mahamatra. I'm not handing the book over. You may think you've played an ace story, but when you opened the book just now, I saw the truth revealed before me. The book's return date is today. That Sino's sure got sharp eyes. That's right. I do have good vision. You have less than half an hour before the book is overdue. Give it to me, and I will return it. How could I just hand it over to you like that? This is a mysterious, super awesome, mega amazing paragon of illogical detective novels that is practically a treasure. I'm going to make a fortune off of it. Should you really be admitting that out loud? I didn't say I was going to sell it. It's not like I was being serious. Then how about this? Dory, Sino, why don't you two play a little game with the book as the stakes? That's one way of solving it. How about it, Dory? Do you dare accept the challenge? If you win, I'll turn a blind eye to the book for the time being, and if you lose, you have to hand it over. Oh, sounds interesting. Very well. I'm in. What's the contest? Are both of you confident in your powers of mental recall? My memory's not bad. Yes. Okay. And you have both read the contents of this book, correct? That's right. Sino, you've actually read it? Oh, well, needless to say, so have I. In that case, I'll just open up the book and flip through a few pages, and you tell me how many names have been circled. Best out of 3 wins. Sound good? That's nuts. What, chickening out? No, it's game on. Let's go. Good, in that case, the first page. 6. 6. Both correct. Next, the second page. I think it was 4. I'd say 4. Oh, both of you are right again. 2 draws. So it all hangs on the next question. Listen up. Oh, page 61. What? That I don't quite remember. 7? I know, the answer is 5. Absolutely correct. The answer is 5. Sino, is your memory really that good? I'm not buying it. How did you do that? It's not actually because I have a good memory, but because the circling of the names left a deep impression on me. So you memorized how many names were circled on each page? That's wild. After I borrowed it, I noticed the names on the first few pages have been selectively circled by different people. Each person's penmanship was different, and moreover, I recognized 3 of the circles as having been drawn by Tainari. Few others use the same color of ink as he does, so it was instantly recognizable. You even know that? They're besto friendos, of course he does. Yes, I learned of that habit of his long ago. At that time, I had just been promoted General Mahamatra and would go to a secret base when I wanted to get through all the trivial tasks in my tray at once with minimal disturbances. I would often find Tainari hidden away on a tree there, doing his homework. Noticing the writing implements he favored wasn't exactly detective work. In all these years, he never once changed the ink he uses. Back to that book. Anyone who's read it knows that the first name circled is the real murderer. Perhaps Tainari did not want the plot to be spoiled for anyone else, so he circled other names. Annotating or marking a book is not in itself a violation of book borrowing regulations, But why are all the other marks there? Is there some conspiracy behind them? What do they have to do with Tainari? I want to get to the bottom of this, even if it's just for the sake of my friend. And to uncover the secret, you must become a part of the conspiracy. So I circled all the other names that were left in the book. To think you'd do such a thing. So there's no treasure at all. It was just you guys all along. Sino really sat down and circled every single name in this book. Wild. That's right. Should you wish to hide a grain of sand, bury it in the desert. And in that grain of sand, I can catch a glimpse of the truth. And so you were drawn to it, making your plans, yet in a twist of fate, were discovered by me. No matter how vast this world is, you cannot run from the long arm of the law. Wow. You're making a meal out of this, aren't you? You really, really have way too much time on your hands. Okay, I give up. You win. Ahem. That's enough for today. It's time for Lord Sangama Bay to return to her room for some repose. Farewell all. So, do you intend to take this book back to the Temple of Silence? I'd heard there was treasure hidden inside and thought it might have something to do with the temple. I never thought that was the real story behind it. But when you agreed to compete, I had already surmised that you were familiar with this book. That's why I chose that particular format. Brilliant move, bro. What's with that look? We're just thinking there have been more twists and turns in this story behind the book than in the actual story itself. Well, as long as you got it back, I'll leave uncovering the rest of the secrets to you and take my leave for now. See you later, everyone. Can I borrow the book, though? Of course. After Sino hands you the book, you and Paimon quickly thumb through it. Though you weren't reading very carefully, you can tell that something's not quite right. The plot is wildly imaginative. And just as everyone says, though most of the names in the book seem familiar, on closer inspection you realize that they aren't actually the names of the historical figures you thought they were at first. Not only that, but every name has been circled. Thinking back on the course of events, you fall silent, and then you explain the full story. How unexpected. But still, it does make sense. And it is far better than the existence of an actual conspiracy. In that case, I still have other plans. Last time I was at Caravan Rabat, I promised I'd meet Dia and Candace for drinks. Storm, could I trouble you to return the book for me? Sure, why not? Thanks, friend. Okay. To the House of Dana once more. Free me from this quest, please. Very exhausting. We're gonna get there. Can I can't because I'm out of stamina. I'm done. Well, we're finally back. Now let's return the book. You really found the book? Amazing. I've been waiting here for it to be returned so I could see it as soon as possible. You recount the entire tale to Kave's eager ears. Seriously? How is that even possible? I circled the actual murderer? Paimon's pretty surprised by this whole thing too. Let's just take care of the book problem first. What if he didn't? What if Alhaitham is the one who circled the murderer and Kaveh actually circled the second name? Hello, this book, it's probably all my fault for using permanent ink to mark a page since that caused a whole mess of other things to happen. Now it's all marked up like this, and there's even a risk of those marks spoiling the story, so I'd like to buy it. The whole issue should be avoidable if the Academia uses the money to buy a new copy. Would you please consider my proposal? Mr. Kaveh, your idea has merit, and it is indeed a good way to resolve the situation. I'll confirm the book's price now, and then you can pay over there. That's great. Thank you so much. Shortly afterwards, Kaveh accompanies the Academia staff to register the purchase of the book and pays the full amount. The staff member carefully wraps up the thoroughly marked up old book and gives it to him. What a blunder. Regardless, thank you so much for all your help. It was nothing. We were just kinda along for the ride. Still, Kaveh, it'd be better if you used something more erasable to make notes in the future. I understand. I'll never let myself subconsciously correct typesetting errors ever again. No, I mean, I'll never again borrow a book with such a long name. At least for a while. Okay. Ah, Alhaitham, you're here. I was looking everywhere for you. What is it? Guess what I've got in this little bag here? If I had to guess, a young man's tears of regret. And what would you know? It's reasoning knows not time of day, but suspense always follows a blizzard. They had to throw that name in there one more time. You actually bothered to memorize a ridiculous and boring name like that? That's just because when I was filling out the paperwork to buy it back at the Academia's office, I had to write it out over and over. Then it looks like this book has a new owner. Only because I subconsciously marked up the book with ink. Did you know that Tainari, Dio, and Sino all circled names in the book? And it all started because the name I circled was the real killer? To be perfectly honest, the moment I first saw the murderer's name circled, I knew this would happen. Wait a second. How come you've read the book, too? I had the pleasure of reading it in the House of Dana. The logic is a mess. It's just poorly written. And you left the book out in the study. So you knew I circled the killer? Then did you circle any names in the book? What do you think? So you did. The second one's mine. Why? The best way to avoid spoilers is to add a red herring. Then why just one? Tainari circled 3. I already significantly reduced the probably... I think that's supposed to be the probability of the murderer's identity being spoiled for the next reader. Man, there are a bunch of typos in this event. That's more than enough. No need to worry about things that are beyond saving. And just why isn't it necessary? Using permanent ink to circle a name on the first page. That's obviously beyond saving. What kind of logic is that? I bet you just drew your circle for fun. If I must say so. Then it's because the circling of the names is far more interesting than the book itself. Fair point. In the end, I only have myself to blame for using up all my pencils. I need to go buy some more. Congratulations! This one-of-a-kind, out-of-print book, personally penned by the hands of so many, is now yours. Do you think I look happy about it? I don't even want it. If it was Paimon, she wouldn't want it either. Well, there's a no from me to you. That's a no from me to you. Are we finally free? Are we done? Is everything completed? I still don't know what the heck that had to do with this summer event, but whatever. Okay, we're done. We finished the summer event. Freedom. Anyway, that was a lot of reading there at the end. So that is going to be it for the day. Tomorrow should be Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. day after, more potion permit, and then we're actually going to be getting back to Sandland instead of having another Genshin stream this week. So finally back to Sandland. That is going to be it for the day. Thank you for keeping me company on this long summer event journey, and have a good night. Bye.